Hey guys! Today I will be redesigning my middle school OCs. These are from 2022? My goal is to do a complete redesign of the characters and their story, which is obviously no short order. So first off, I think I should give some background as to the original story that my middle school brain concocted. Basically, it was a classic dystopian tale of teenagers fight against evil government entity. An entirely original concept, I know, but bear with me. Before the story took place, the world had fallen into complete dystopia due to nuclear fallout, but some of the world's best and brightest politicians, scientists, military strategists, etc. had all been saved and moved into a secluded compound. The main characters are the children of these best and brightest, who have been raised all their lives to be the best at their specialties. The children are told they are training for a righteous cause, and that everyone else left on the planet are just fanatics that need to be helped by their organization. And of course, no dystopian YA story is complete without a classification system. There are 3 separate categories for the children to specialize in called grades. You can either be military grade, technology grade, or espionage grade. Yeah, it's literally just Hogwarts houses. Military grade trainees are taught how to be the most effective war machines, martial arts, tank operating, and the like. Technology grade trainees are taught how to be the best scientists in a number of fields in order to progress society post-dystopia. And finally, espionage grade trainees are taught how to be expert spies, how to be sneaky, how to read a person's body language, and how to get information. Now, onto the 4 main characters I will be redesigning today. Andy, Minseo, Oliver, and Nadia. The story follows them figuring out that the organization they were raised in was actually evil. Who could have guessed, am I right? They then plot to escape together and then try to rebel against said evil organization, and that was pretty much my idea for the first section of the story. You can tell I was no Ernest Hemingway in the 8th grade. Not that I am now, either. The story kind of boils down to Harry Potter meets Umbrella Academy, meets Hunger Games, meets Wattpad. Now, onto the rewrites and redesigns for the individual characters. First, Andy Diallo. He was my first OC for this world, and I definitely held favoritism for him, made abundantly clear in just how much more I drew him than the other 3. Here are some examples of old drawings I did of him. He is in the technology grade, and when I first designed him, he had a fascination with plants, and was like the plant scientist over the organization. His father was an acclaimed American scientist who escaped to the compound and then had Andy, who followed in his scientific footsteps. The main part of his character I plan to rework is his personality. In the original story, he was something of a Mary Sue. His personality boiled down to being a really good guy and being really smart and pretty much flawless, which obviously makes for a bad story. So I plan to make him more of a fearful character, someone who always just stayed in line and kept his head down. He's good at heart and still smart, but his main character flaw now is his cowardice. I think this will add a lot to the story, as it will make his betrayal of the organization a lot more powerful. It would make his build-up to deserting much more real and impactful. He's still technology grade in my rewrite, but I don't know what I was cooking with that plant scientist idea, to be honest. So, I've decided that he now specializes in biology, making biological weapons and different medicines in this dystopian timeline. Andy fully drinks the Kool-Aid, so to say, at the beginning of the story, so he doesn't really bat an eye at making weapons for the organization, and due to his personality, he never really questions it. I think this new job and personality really make for an interesting moral conflict through the story, as Andy struggles with guilt as he realizes what he's been doing. So now that I've yapped about his personality, now it's time to talk about what you're actually here for, his character design. There's a lot to unpack in his original design, beginning with his hair. First off, where are you getting pink hair dye in the apocalypse? I appreciate what I was probably going for as a super cool, edgy cyberpunk design, but it just wasn't working from a story angle or a design angle, to be honest. So first, I changed that to be a much more shorter and more reasonable haircut for a scientist working in a lab 24/7. I also got rid of his pink eyeliner because where are you getting bright pink eyeliner in a dystopian government compound? Also, his new personality is all about blending in and not really getting noticed, which pink hair and eyeliner tend to interfere with. Now onto his outfit. I originally had this weird sweater vest and dress pants design for the compound uniform for the trainees, which didn't really make any sense. I think it was just my middle school obsession with Umbrella Academy, to be honest. It just doesn't work from a lot of aspects. Firstly, it doesn't work for the 3 grades, as them all having the same uniform doesn't make sense because they all need to do very different things. So, I will be designing each faction their own new uniform that fits their job. Secondly, the color palette is not giving dystopian government. It's giving edgy 13-year-old. Which, to be fair, I was, so I guess I can't really blame myself for that. For the new uniform, I tried to make it look scientific and practical, while also having some fun futuristic elements. I really like how it came out. The goggles are definitely my favorite finishing touch. Overall, I'm really liking this redesign. I think this makes Andy a much more realistic and visually appealing character. Also, shout out to me improving on drawing shoes because my boy was looking rough in that original iteration. And here is the new Andy. I think I did a pretty good job considering the original material I had to work with. Secondly, Mino Song. Here are some of my old drawings of her, arguably worse than the ones of Andy, to be honest. She's the daughter of a South Korean military strategist and a Chinese politician. She is military grade, but to be honest, I never developed her much past that. Her main personality was liking to fight and having a short temper, which doesn't really make for much of a character, I'll admit. For her rewrite, I've decided to keep her 2 basic personality elements and try to build off them. Her new main motive as a character is to be the best possible, making her incredibly driven. She spends most of her time training. She's still got a short temper, but I wanted to add a little happy-go-lucky edge to her. Almost like she's happy most of the time, but at the slightest disruption, she'll get really angry. Additionally, her new character flaw will be her impulsivity, drawing on her short temper, and her general hubris and belief that she is genuinely the best. She tends to think and act in the moment with little regard for the future consequences. She's pretty much just a himbo now, but I'm okay with that. Now for her actual redesign. I'm not exactly an athlete in real life, so this was based mainly on my preconceived notions of what an athlete might need to wear. Her new uniform consists of a tight tank top, some looser cargo pants, and combat boots. Real athletes, please let me know how I did in the comments because I truly have no idea beyond thinking it looks pretty cool. Now for her hair. I have to admit, I have a soft spot for the bob plus braids look. Despite its impracticality, I've decided to say that they make sense in the story because Min-seo keeps them because she wants to look cool and like she can perform at her best even with the slightly impractical hairstyle. I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of the braids. They're so iconic to me. And that's her redesign finished. I like how this one came out too. I didn't do much besides change her outfit, but I think it shows a lot of my artistic growth. Now for Oliver Alviso. Full disclosure, he was definitely the least developed character when I originally designed the story. He was pretty much just comic relief, to be honest. He's the son of a Chilean politician, and he is espionage grade. His original personality was, as previously stated, pretty much just funny and carefree. I think I'll change that to be more that he is numb to his situation and tends to cope by making jokes and trying to remove himself entirely. He's now less carefree and more unconcerned. He's still probably comedic relief, but with a more serious undertone. I also think he's now a more rebellious figure, especially out of the 4 I discussed today. While the others, especially Andy, aim to please or at least serve the organization to the best of their ability, Oliver is more of an insurgent, breaking rules and questioning authority. His fatal flaw is his inability to take anything seriously, which gets in his and the group's way a lot. His espionage grade uniform was particularly difficult for me to design. I mean, what does a spy need to wear exactly? The only thing I could think of was a black turtleneck and leggings, which is just a little bit too boring for me. After a lot of internal deliberation, I decided to go with a utility vest with a white button-up undershirt. The vest provides a signature for the grade, while the white button-up has versatile environments where it can be used to blend in. To preserve his rebellious personality, I decided to have his sleeves rolled up and a skirt that definitely breaks dress code. I also gave him some ripped tights because, firstly, it looks cool, and I imagine he deliberately ripped them just because he could to be difficult. I also kept his Mary Jane shoes from his original design because I really liked them and honestly couldn't make myself get rid of them. But I did get rid of the blonde money pieces because who has time to bleach their dark, curly hair in a dystopian compound? Here is the new and improved Oliver. Last but not least, Nadia McNight. She is the daughter of Romanian and French politicians, and she is with Oliver in the espionage grade. Middle school me actually kind of cooked with her personality, to be honest. She's basically Oliver's foil. She takes everything deadly serious and is solely focused on being the best spy she can be for the organization. She's seen as sort of a queen bee due to her cool exterior and excellent abilities. Think of her as a mix of Regina George from Mean Girls and Black Widow, with a little bit of Netflix Carmen Sandiego thrown in there. So, to add some new depth to her character, I think her biggest character flaw / motivation being insecurity and almost paranoid anxiety would add a lot to her character. It is her drive to be the best because she fears that she will fall behind if she's not. It provides a nice complexity between her internal and external experiences. Externally, she is seen as a level-headed and efficient trainee, but internally, she's almost always panicking. I didn't have to do too much to her design except give her the espionage vest, zipped all the way up, of course, and give her a more practical haircut. Her old hair wasn't cutting it. And I thought a nice updo made much more sense. I also decided to give her the same pants as Minseo because she needs to train in martial arts as well, so it makes sense. She would need activewear pants. Here is the new Nadia. I think I did a good job adapting her design to be overall more aesthetically pleasing and practical. Thank you to everyone who watched. This video took a whole lot of time to draw and edit, so I really hope you liked it. Please drop a like and subscribe. Also, comment and tell me what you think of my redesigns. Would you have done anything differently? Let me know about your middle school OCs too, so I feel less embarrassed by mine. Alright, thank you so much for watching.